For those who have ears to hear, for those who have ears to hear. If you read Timothy 1:1, scroll down a bit, and you can read here, Paul is writing and he's saying, who was before a blasphemer and a persecutor and injurious, but I obtained mercy because I did it ignorantly in unbelief. So he confesses here that he before was a blasphemer. Yet it says that the only sin that is not forgiven is blaspheming, right? Yet someone here comes to claim that he has obtained mercy. And we all wish that it was true. We all wish that it should be so. Because we have loved ones before who are still blaspheming today. We know that they are, don't they? So, should we believe this guy or not, That's what the apostles were thinking when they first met Paul. Like, should we believe this or not? And obviously they believed him, right? They started following him, and Paul came in and the group separated into two parts. We know about that story, don't we? He says, I obtained mercy, that in me first Jesus Christ might shew forth all long suffering for a pattern to them which should hereafter believe on him to life everlasting. Now unto the King eternal, immortal, invisible, the only wise God, be honor and glory forever and ever. Amen. So, Paul here is worshipping the invisible God, right? We all know God is spirit. Invisible, that is true. But Jesus is God in the flesh. God in the flesh. This is something the Pharisees don't like. Islam doesn't like it. They worship the invisible God. They believe that God is too nice to walk amongst men. They believe Jesus is just a man. So same here with Paul. He says it himself. Invisible, the only wise God. Invisible. He says he's claiming here that Jesus is not walking amongst his own. He's rejecting the fact that Jesus walked amongst his own. God in the flesh. The wisdom of God. Jesus Christ. But he says here, only the invisible. Just like Islam. Just like the Pharisees. And you all know that Paul confesses when he later in this book, in his letters, when he stumbles upon other Pharisees, even though he has obtained mercy from Jesus, he claims, he confesses still to be a Pharisee. Paul also comes to say that and threatens you to say that should I come to hit you, he wants to whip you. Did Jesus ever threaten you to come to whip you? I'm asking, seriously asking. Then you can read here, Jesus is angry with those who he forgives, who does not forgive, right? You have heard that. Forgive and you shall be forgiven, but if you don't forgive, my Father in heaven will not forgive you. So Jesus, if he has forgiven Paul of blaspheming, Jesus would say to Paul, if Paul is not forgiving someone who is blaspheming or doing something equally that Jesus has forgiven, Jesus said about the evil workers who did not forgive, and Jesus said, well, I forgave you all debts, and you couldn't forgive a little, right? But Paul here says that Alexander, whom I have delivered unto Satan, that they may not learn not to blaspheme. So Paul here, instead of forgiving and helping this, whoever Alexander is here, instead of helping and forgiving, he chose to deliver them unto Satan. He delivers them to their adversary so that they may learn not to blaspheme. Did Jesus do that with Paul? Did Jesus do that with Paul? Did Jesus deliver Paul unto Satan? According to Paul himself, what did Jesus do with Paul? According to himself, I mean. That's what Paul stating, that Jesus had mercy on him even though he was a blasphemer, the unforgivable sin. Yet now Paul is forgiven, and he's walking in his statue, in righteousness. He's speaking the name of Jesus even with his mouth, and he's doing great things. He's doing great things. He's traveling the world, and he's testifying, and he's doing all these things that you all put up Paul on a pedestal today. You put him up above Jesus Christ even many times. Well, Paul said. But you never say what Jesus said. So, for those who have ears to hear, if you yet have figured this out, well, if you found this, let it be a blessing to you. All glory to Jesus Christ. He who does not give glory to Jesus shall die. Amen.